Hi, Rose Williams. My goals for this study tour were to discover the City of London, the history, the culture, and the transportation of the city. This was my first visit to London, and I had a lot of preconceptions about the city, but by the end of the tour, all of these preconceptions were dismissed. I couldn't believe how big the city was when we made our landing. I had an idea in my mind that London was a big city, but not as big as it really is. I had this idea in my mind that London was an old, decaying city with a long history. This was quickly put to rest on our bus tour and the boat ride to Greenwich. I could see all the new development that was taking place in the city. And even more amazing is that some of this building is taking place to some very old and historical areas. And this was done in a very ordered, methodical way. Via all the new development, the high rises and such were happening on the east side, while the more traditional historical sites on the west side are still protected. You won't see any high-rise towers on the west side of London. Which leads to the history and culture of London. This is a very multicultural city with many nationalities. There are plenty of museums to visit, which, believe it or not, are free, and there are theaters to experience as well. Just these two things could be a separate trip in itself. I've seen a lot of many multicultural restaurants in the city, and it was hard to decide where to go. And I actually seen women wearing the hijab for the first time. This was on the London Underground. And on the Underground as well, I heard a lot of different languages that were being spoken while we were on there. And this leads me to the transportation system of London, which has really made a big impact with me. And I would love to see something similar here in the Lower Mainland. I live in Squamish, and I commute to school on the days that I have classes. And I would love to go to school in a more environmental way. In London, seeing all the subway lines and some of the trains that connect with those lines are amazing. And I'm impressed with how people who work in London can commute to and from work each day via the train, subway, or bus. Being in Squamish, I can imagine taking a train from my home to Lonsdale Quay and then maybe jumping on a bus to Capu. And I can imagine many other professionals who live in Whistler and Squamish doing the same. Overall, at the end of the trip, I felt very comfortable in London, and given the opportunity, I would go again. And I encourage any student to go on a field school to learn more about our big, beautiful world and to experience other cultures. Even though it may seem similar to our own, there are many differences.
Hi, Tyler Gillingham here. My goals for the London Field School were to discover the different sites and attractions that I haven't already seen, to work in teams within a new country and culture, and to explore and navigate through London's transportation system. I've been to London twice before this trip, in 2012 and 2016, and have explored multiple parts of London. Although at this field school, I was able to discover and learn about many things that I didn't do or learn previously. Some of these sites and attractions included the Shoreditch Walking Tour, Fuller's Brewery, Hampton Court Palace, the football match, and much more. One of my favorites out of all the places we visited was the Hampton Court Palace. There's so much history and culture among this palace, you could spend countless hours walking around the inside and outside of the building. Another goal and skill I felt myself and the entire class developed was true leadership skills. Figuring out how to get from point A to point B in an entirely new country was an excellent experience and personal growth opportunity. The pre-planning that we did before our departure and our leadership day were very important in the success of our overall execution. I feel that everyone did an awesome job in their designated days, and we were all prepared to take on London. After the entire trip was over, I truly understood why London is considered a world-class city. They have so much to offer, such as their transportation, history, culture, diversity, business, sports, and more. This trip was such a good experience to learn about business and culture firsthand compared to the average class setting. I would highly suggest for any other Capilano student to take on this amazing opportunity of the London Field School or any other field school that Capilano has to offer.
Hi, this is Leer. My goals for study tour were explore the difference between two countries, enhance teaming and cooperation ability, and widen the horizon. During this trip, I've seen how vibrant and historical that city is. As far as the difference I found between Canada, there are a lot of things can be explored. When I reached the urban area once, I've realized that in the UK, the country with one of the densest populations in the world, is almost always stuck by how much space there is. Narrow streets, heavy traffic, and crowd people have witnessed a rosy picture of perspective. From this 10-day trip, I learned how to trust in others. We were split into small groups and leading each other to explore new city while research and attempting complement and help each other forward, as it promotes leadership effectiveness. We used to study every day in classroom and consider each other as a stranger. But as we traveled in London, we combined together as a group against any challenges. We have caught the uncommon chance to learn the knowledge, told it aside, made new friends, and build up our own. Being there is a way different than just watch from the book. Some of the psychology shocks can be only brought through directly view those wonders. This trip introduced real experience, and happy after I've come back was as heartfelt as the emotion I felt from my own year ago when I first arrived in Canada.